actually a fitness condition coach. Did that for about 7 years, and full-time mum. So Spence was able to work and he made a decent income that I was able to stay home and look after my 4 kids.
Before ACN, I was in the building industry. I started in the domestic and then later moved on to the commercial side and high-rises. Then in 2008, the big GFC hit and our industry got hit really hard, and I found myself in a job.
I think I remember the day that Spencer came home and he sat me down and said, "Hun, I no longer have a job." He'd lost his income. And we were so used to having that type of income for about 15 years. So when it disappeared, it felt like we couldn't breathe. We were about to lose a house. We had 90 days to come up with a mortgage, otherwise they were going to take the house away. And just the thought of that, having to, sit our kids down and tell them, okay, we no longer have this house, it was just something I couldn't even fathom. So a week after that, we got a phone call from my sister and she invited us to one of these ACN presentations. And I'd never done network marketing. So I rolled my eyes and went, yeah, whatever. But I showed up because it was my sister. And I sat at the back of the room and they started talking about making money off gas and electricity and mobile phones. And something that we learned that was pretty powerful was it didn't matter how broke we were about to lose a house, but every single dollar we had left over went to pay for the gas, the electricity, mobile phones. So for me, ACN just sounded like common sense. And I went home really excited and I told Spencer and he turned around and told me not to do it. But here's what I knew, that if we kept doing what we'd always done, we would end up in the same situation. I mean, I was 31 and we couldn't even afford the mortgage payment. And that for me, that was a game changer. I had to do something different. And even though he wasn't keen, I knew that I had to do it first. In order for him to be able to see that it would work, I had to get started. And it was the most challenging thing we'd ever done. But what I saw in ACN, I couldn't sleep. I started imagining the potential of what ACN could do for my family. But more importantly, Spencer was working 3 different jobs. So ACN for me was about rescuing my husband.
I'm old school and traditional, and I'm always about providing for the family. And if I can't do that, I guess I don't lose my manhood, but I just don't feel like a provider, if that makes sense, man. And I think when I heard at the international that the ACN can really do it as a team and do it together, I really started thinking, oh, hang on, this could really work. And coming out of the international, I think I've become Jannis' best secret weapon.
Yeah, he likes to think that, but yeah, okay, so he came out of the international event and within 2 weeks we went team coordinator. But that was our first international event as business owners. My first one, I went as a guest. And that first international event, these people got up in front of the room and they were so excited, they were so pumped up about life. And the same gentleman, Mr. Larry Raskin, he reminded me that I had everything within me to change my circumstances. And that environment woke me up and empowered me and reminded me of what I could do if I put my mind to it. Now you gotta remember that at that first event as a guest, I could barely even afford to be in that room to pay for that ticket. But I sacrificed to be there, and as a result of that, I got to see a vision bigger than what I could see for myself. So my biggest advice to you is if you're fairly new in the business, do not miss that international event. We always talk about miracles, but they're not coming to you. You've got to go get it. And that miracle is at that international event. If I hadn't gone to the international event, I never would have understood what ACN stood for and how powerful this vehicle could be for somebody like me. I mean, I saw a truck driver across the stage as a regional vice president. I saw these normal people who had no qualifications, no degrees. They were achieving these massive results. And I sat there feeling sorry for myself. And when I saw that, I said to myself, if they can do this, I just needed to know that normal people could do it. And if they could do this, I could do this. There's nothing special about Spencer and I. We're just normal, average people. We didn't understand that this was possible. But you don't know what you don't know. Couple of key things that happened in our journey. When the residual income covered the mortgage payment, that was a game changer.
For 2 years, I never slept at home because I always worked night shifts or security. And for 2 straight years, I'd just always be on the road. And I remember one night, it was a Saturday night, I remember it clearly, and And then we just hit team coordinator, and I got home from studying at 4 o'clock, and I was getting ready to go out to security at 6 to work down in Victoria, and Jannis goes, you know what, Spence, have the night off. I goes, I've made enough money in ACN to cover all our bills and not have to miss your wages that you make tonight and have the night off. No one's ever given me a day off.
I learnt that I'm responsible for my own happiness. That happiness, it's not his job to make me happy. And when I figured those things out for myself, not only did I empower myself in terms of confidence, but I'm the mother of 4 kids. I am their #1 teacher. I mean, within 4 years, who would have thought that a stay-at-home mum with 4 kids can become a regional vice president, pay the mortgage residually every single month? If you had told me that 4 years ago when I felt like I couldn't breathe, I would have told you that you were crazy. The biggest thing that I've done is I've taught myself, and I woke myself up to my potential, and that's powerful. There was one point in my business where I looked down and no one was doing anything, and I was getting frustrated. And I went to one of the trainings, and one of the leaders said, look, whatever your business, if you're not happy with your business, look in the mirror, because the person who's responsible for that is you. So the #1 key thing is you take responsibility. This is your business. It's no one else's business, it's your business. If you want to make it move, then you move. And when you start doing activity and action, that's when you build your confidence. But if you're not happy with what you're doing, then you sit there and mope about it. Nothing's going to change. So knowing why you're doing it is really important. And it has to be big, it has to be deep. Otherwise, you'll get lost along the way.
And I grew up on sports, and I'm a big believer in those 1%ers and the small things that people tend to overlook because everyone wants to train on stage or be in the top 10 in production, all this and that. But it comes down to the 1%ers, the simple stuff, you know, the peaking, the following up, all the small things that people overlook. They really matter and they really count. You know, those small things really add up at the end of the week, at the end of the month. So if they concentrate on those small things, then those small things will become great things down the track.
In the first 4 years in ACN, I never missed a training. So one of the key things I would say is, if you really want this business to work for you, take it seriously. If you're not going to show up to your own rescue, then don't expect that things are going to change. ACN works when you work. I'm going to tell you how we got started, because there was a system in place. Remember, we didn't have any experience in this. And when we got started, we called about 60 people and invited them to what they call a home presentation. That home presentation, 5 people got started from that one home presentation. Fast forward to now, that's now thousands and thousands of business owners. If you have just gotten started, my biggest advice to you is have a massive home presentation, because from there you'll acquire customers and you'll be able to build your business. Because of that home presentation, we were able to move things quite quickly, that within the first 6 months, we achieved team coordinator. Within the first 17 months, we were regional directors. And all we did was rinse and repeat. And we fully believe in that system. And because of that system, now we have all of these people in our team achieving team coordinator, and that's the only reason why we're regional vice presidents. ACN's a heart business. It's about courage, it's about heart. It's not brain surgery, it's simple. But you've got to go to these international events for you to truly understand the vision of what's possible with this company.